Hello and welcome to a Steamforged Games video. I'm your host Jamie and I'm joined by one of our game developers, Bryce Johnston.
Hello.
And we are opening up the Explorers expansion.
We are.
So Bryce, I'll let you carry on with the honours.
Thank you very much.
Now whilst he's doing that, you may notice I've got Ornstein here from the core set. Now that is because you get some cards in this expansion for the old Dragon Slayer. Now there's no model in there, or miniature, for the old Dragon Slayer. You use Ornstein from your core set. So you get a second use for him as a mini-boss.
Yep.
Thanks, Ornstein. Right, let's crack this open.
Lovely.
Here we go. All right, so rulebook on top.
Yep.
Read that at your own leisure.
Yep, as ever.
And we've got your health dials for the old Dragon Slayer, the Mimics, and the Pursuer.
Yes.
We'll get onto them in a sec. Cards for old Dragon Slayer, the Pursuer, the Mimic, and all the behaviours in there as well. And some new enemies. And also we've got some new, what are these called?
Encounter cards.
Encounter cards. And I would assume some treasure in there as well from the bosses.
Yeah,
And the Mimics. So that's them off to one side.
Yep.
Then we've got the plugs for the health dials. And we get to the miniatures.
Yeah, the cool bit.
Now, something that should we say about these new packaging, the new expansions, is that once you've constructed your health dials, there is a space for them to go back into the box, which we have
really handy,
which is a nice little addition from the project manager there. Let's get these open.
I think it was just like a project manager.
A project manager. Somebody thought it was a great idea, and it is. The third one.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I've got it.
Yep.
For once. We're in.
Lovely.
So, Bryce, do you want to start us off with some of these bits and bobs?
So the first thing to sort of look at is we've got physical miniatures here for gravestones. So this is the bonfire, and then we've got gravestones, barrels, and treasure chests, all of which are terrain pieces which can come up during your games and in the encounters that you face. And what this expansion does is just give you physical models that you can use to represent those. Yep,
it's a real quality of life.
Yeah, it's a
enhancer,
quality of
isn't
life
it?
thing. Yeah, and also like particularly the gravestone, I think, is just a very cool model.
Yeah, I mean, and these, I mean, the tokens are great for the core game. You use these, and it becomes like
you get that more immersive.
Yes, yeah. And you can obviously see, I can't go through that. There's a barrel. I need to break it, or I can't go through there. There's a gravestone in the way.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's the sort of terrain elements there. We've also added Silver Knight Spearmen, which are new enemies, and Firebomb Hollows, which hold on, where is he? There's one. And so those are just new types of enemies. Some of the encounters that you've got here will add these new enemies into the game, and will also use core game enemies as well. So there's kind of a mix of those in there.
Yep. Then we've got everyone's favourite.
Yes. Okay, so there's two models to represent the Mimic there. We've got the quiet, calm, little sleepy form, and then we've got the big, angry, bite your face off form. And so there are rules basically that modify how treasure chests work normally. Okay. And what that does is at the end of an encounter, when you've beaten all the enemies, if there's treasure chests, you can basically you flip over a token to see whether it is a Mimic or whether it's a treasure chest. And if it is a Mimic, you have to immediately fight the Mimic. Yep. But the Mimic's basically like again, like a mini boss. Like,
yes, yeah.
It's not quite boss level, but it's more powerful than a sort of normal grunt. Yeah. And it has obviously a health dial and behavior cards and so on. And it's split into two separate levels depending on whether it's pre-mini boss or post-mini boss as well.
So it scales its difficulty depending on where you are.
And then if you lose to the Mimic, you would replace the normal treasure chest, which we showed you earlier, with this, so that you know there is a Mimic in that encounter.
Got you.
And if you beat a Mimic, you get treasure as if you'd opened two chests instead.
Okay, nice.
So basically it adds extra level of reward, but an extra level of risk as well.
Fantastic. And finally,
we have the Pursuer, who's an extremely cool looking fellow. I'm a really big fan of this miniature, actually. I just think it's awesome. If you want to show the camera there.
Yeah.
And his thing is he's basically hyper aggressive as a boss. So whenever he draws a behavior card, he draws two behavior cards.
Okay.
and when he heats up as normal, but he also gets +1 damage on all of his attacks.
Oh wow, okay.
So when he's heated up, every time he activates, he's drawing 2 behavior cards and he's getting extra
He's
damage.
hitting you harder.
Yeah, he really comes for it. He's very, very aggressive, which
Yeah.
is just very representative of how he is in the video game as well.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's everything covered. We've done the 3D terrain, the new enemies, the new bosses, how you can use Ornstein as Old Dragon Slayer, and how the mimics work. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Bryce.
Sweet. Thank you.
Hope everyone's enjoyed it at home, and we'll be back with more in the future.